Big Brother Canada 8 recap podcast. It is Sunday night, March 22nd, and we are here to talk about what we just saw on the Big Brother Canada 8 HOH and nomination episode. This podcast, just like the episode, is a reset because of some technical difficulties. But here we are. I'm your host, Art Armstrong, and with me tonight, a very special guest who has graced us with his presence. It is Godfrey Mangwiza. How you doing, Godfrey?
What's up, guys? Glad to be back on the podcast.
Yes, very happy to have you. Also with me tonight is Brent. How you doing, Brent?
I'm doing freaking excellent, Taryn. Nice to see you.
All right. Yes. So as I definitely was not saying the first time, because there was no first time. This is the first time. A big deal was made tonight about how we've got a reset. It's time to reset the game. It's a new, fresh start. Here we go. And here is the new. This is the official version of the season. We are starting now. It's oh wait, hold on. There's another quick. Hold on, just can we do the reset again, please? Can we get a thing? Thank you. Okay. Godfrey, yeah. What is happening this season?
Jeez, I have no idea, man. Like, this is literally just unprecedented what we're seeing right now, man. Like, it's week 4 and only one person has actually been evicted from the game. Like, you got one person self-evicted, 2 people were kicked out, and then you got another person trying to self-evict again. Like, it's just a season of firsts. Just the first time in BB Can history that we've had anyone leave the game involuntarily or get kicked out. So it's crazy, man. I'm waiting for the game to start so I can actually see Big Brother.
Right? Yep. But Godfrey, I think we need to be clear about this. As Carol told us, she's not self-evicting. She's asking for people to evict her.
That is the most pathetic thing I've ever seen ever. Like, why would you? Like, what purpose does that serve? Like, she's making it seem as though she cannot just tell production, I'm done, I want to walk out of the game. Why make a spectacle of calling a house meeting, telling people, hey guys, first of all, you're telling the guy to nominate you. What if he had other targets and this is somebody who's in your alliance? You're screwing your alliance over. The best thing to do would be to just let him take out whoever he wants to take out, and then you walk. But I feel like she wants to save face and get an interview and say,
she doesn't want an interview with me.
I mean, Godfrey, I don't know why Sheldon hasn't, and the feeds have been down for me, and so there have been times where I've been like, screw it, I'm not even going to try. But like, I have not seen Sheldon go to her and say, look, I fought my ass off for that HOH. You saw that with me and Chris, okay? I got shit to do in the game. I am not going to use my HOH to take you out.
He had to be direct, like, absolutely. Like,
I mean, why not just be direct and say, look, Mama, I'm playing the game. I know you're done with the game, but I'm still playing the game, and I got business I need to take care of. I'm sorry.
If I was Sheldon, I would tell her, oh, sure, yeah, I will vote you out, and then just vote somebody else out anyways. Get rid of 2 people for the price of 1.
I mean, honestly, Taryn, I feel like it's more their fault, as in Sheldon and Brooke, for letting this train get so far down the tracks that they're okay with this. Because now, if they go back, they make themselves look like the bad guys. I think if they would have put their foot down from the beginning, or Sheldon would have put his foot down from the beginning and said, you know what? I don't feel comfortable with using my HOH for you to get a get out of jail free card.
Just walk out if you want to go home. Like, just walk out. It's that easy. You don't have to. There's no rule that you have to be voted out. Like, you can self-evict.
Well, Minley is saying that, and this is not canon, but I have heard this before in other reality shows, that if she quits, that they will not pay for her way home.
Well, that's good.
I know, right? I'm like, it can't be that hard to get home, right? Yeah,
actually, like, where does she live? Like, is she like in Iran, or like is she?
That's what I want to know.
Like, I don't know, with the whole flight thing going on and coronavirus, she's scared that, I might have to take the bus home. But listen, I'm pretty sure production is not gonna, like, they're gonna pay for her. If anything, maybe they're trying to put the squeeze on her to stay in the game and say, hey, we're not gonna pay for you. if you try to pull this shit. We already had somebody leave.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think they probably just like they're playing with her, but like she will find a way home. Come on.
But that doesn't mean Sheldon has to do the work that production wants him to do, though.
It's responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, wasn't she saying on feeds that her business is doing well?
That she's probably already doubled her followers, and she has a successful business, and that's that's what she came for in the first place.
Business to pay for your flight.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know what? Because she's talking about like, my business, I can make $100,000 playing this game. My business can make that much money in an easier amount of time than being in this house. So I don't need to be here.
They're not adding up.
But I also need them to pay for my flight home. So
yeah. She just wants to save face, and she doesn't want to be seen as, because she did when she said that she's representing like all the bigger plus size people, everybody in the gay community, and everybody who she feels she's representing. I feel like she just doesn't want to be seen as a quitter who left the game, and maybe this is sort of her way of leaving on a good note to say, hey, the game was really tough on me, but my fellow house guest did the honorable thing to let me go. But I'm like, you can't paint that narrative when we've seen you discussing that you want to quit. That's kind of what it is, like we don't got to shame her for not being able to handle it, but if she wants to go, she just has to go, man.
Yeah. And it's the fact that really the thing that I think is the most frustrating, she wants to quit in general, and like it's not like she's in a position like Nico where like she has no prospects in the game.
She was in one of my drafts, my lottery draft, so I'm losing money if she quits. This is why I'm pissed. But like I would understand this from somebody who either they're being bullied or they feel like the whole house is coming against them. Like like Nico, you could kind of understand, like the guy, the chips were down for him. He was not like like it wasn't looking good for Nico. It didn't help that he didn't even campaign to save his butt.
Right.
Carol, she is so well liked in the house that people are even considering this idiotic plan to vote her out voluntarily. Yeah. It's like just played out. They gave her a never have not pass, so she doesn't have to eat slop for the whole season. And I'm pretty sure they're giving her snacks and everything to kind of bribe her, because I know production definitely doesn't want somebody quitting again. Maybe they do. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
kick two people out, so maybe they want the season over and done with.
I mean, what it sounds like to me, Godfrey, is that like the Big Brother Canada 3 jury, Carol is unjustly losing you money here. This is a bad thing. This is an equally bad thing.
Deja vu.
And it's, you know what, it is frustrating. It's frustrating that not only does she want to quit, but that she is forcing the house guests to do it. And the talk about like, should Sheldon go along with this, I think the problem here is what Carol says to Brooke, which is, I'm not threatening you, but if you guys don't send me home, I'll just self-evict, and the week will get reset anyway, and you'll have targeted somebody and have even more blood on your hands. So either send me home.
Like, if they don't nominate her, she will self-evict before the eviction.
The thing that I think is...
I mean, Sheldon, he just put 3 people on the block again and got nothing done.
Right. And I think the thing that's going on here is that... I think if production doesn't want this to happen, it wouldn't be happening, right? I think that, as you said, Godfrey, like my guess is that, and it's a very strong guess, that they are heavily incentivizing Carol to stay until Thursday because they don't want another quit. And with that being the case, I'm willing to bet that that everyone involved understands that if you don't go along with this, then it's a wasted week anyway, and you'll have wasted your time going after somebody else and pissing them off, and Carol will still quit, and the week will still be Carol's week, only you'll have wasted your time and blood going after somebody else, which is very frustrating, I'm sure, for Sheldon.
Which... like, Godfrey, the only way that they can do this is to do it in a blind side, because, to have her up on the block, to vote out Minley if she doesn't win the veto, and then say girl bye. And then of course at that point Carol can still quit.
Walk right behind Minley. Like she'll be so shocked. She'll be like JP on the eviction, like, oh my God, you guys screwed me. I'm getting out of here. And two people, great job. We did it.
But the problem is that Sheldon and Brooke are in so good with everybody in the house that they realize they can't do this in a blind side, because by doing it, that'd be like drawing a line in the sand and letting everybody know, hey, we did this behind your back. So the only way they can do it is to have buy-in from everybody in the rest of the house to vote out Min Lee. But if that happens, Carol's going to get wind of it.
And also, they don't have buy-in from everybody in the house.
Exactly.
Hira is very against it. JL and Maddie and Ree are very against it.
Oh, they prefer Carol to be the one who's sent home.
Yes, they were moved by her plea and feel like it's the right thing to do to make her to send her home. And again, another concern of Brooks is that like she's getting the sense that production will be very angry with them if they do something like this and force Carol to quit. And that she's like, they're gonna cancel our season if she quits. Like we have to do this to keep us on the air.
Jeez, like what if Carol's just a mad genius and this is actually a way for her to, because right now, think about it, nobody is really gonna want to even nominate Carol because they're like, she's gonna quit anyways. Why waste our time putting her on the block? She'll walk out. Like she could easily do this till a final five.
I mean, we talked about that in the first week, but
something's wrong.
Yeah. It is definitely a frustrating situation, I'm sure, for Sheldon, and certainly a topic of this episode was his potential regret for winning this HOH. That we saw this HOH competition, they were hanging in like sleeping bags and on a slope, and it ultimately came down to Sheldon and Chris, and Chris was just like, just 10 more minutes. Just 10 more minutes. I just want to keep hanging. Like, what was this about, Godfrey?
Like that was like, for me, I feel like Sheldon absolutely had no business winning that competition. Absolutely zero business. Especially knowing that he's now at the end, he has Hira and he has Chris, two people who are in his alliance, two people who are likely gonna put in whoever he wants them to put in. Like Chris was literally going to do the exact same thing that Sheldon just did. So it's like, why did you win that? Like it doesn't make sense. Last week you just gave this girl Wendy's. You promised both those girls that they're in an alliance with you, they're working with you, they're safe. So now when you have to nominate them again, even as pawns, it's just not a good look for him. Like, why not let Chris get a little blood on his hands right now? Because he's been sitting pretty right now. He hasn't had to do much. But I feel like Sheldon, he also probably realized it right after he won that, oh my God, what did I just do? It didn't make any sense at all. Now he's just looking like a huge threat. He was so introverted and reserved that people weren't really looking at him as a big time player. But now 2 back-to-back HOHs, I know he wants to build his resume, but I feel like it's just too early. He's showed his cards right now. Chris is laughing. Everyone is laughing because once again, he gets to do the house's dirty work.
Yeah, and I think that that what's happening in Sheldon's mind here is that when Kyle was ejected from the game, it really shook him because that was like his entire game plan had to completely shift and alter in a different direction, and none of the targets that he targeted last week went home, and so that got him really nervous. And he talked about how there was a night where he just sat up in the HOH with Brooke, just like, our world has just come crumbling down, like everything is going wrong. What have our games come to? And so
the more reasonable one in the alliance, he was the more calculated, who could kind of come up with plans and say, hey, don't do this. So I just don't have, I feel like Sheldon's a smart player in there, but Kyle was really kind of the more pragmatic guy. The moves he was making were making sense. And now Brooke is a really good voice of reason, because she at least realized it immediately that, hey, why did you win this? You're screwing us. You're making this worse for us. So yeah, man, it's not looking good for Sheldon.
Yeah,
right now.
and I think that he recognizes this. Brooke recognized it. Brooke, by the way, was trying to get the message to Sheldon: don't win this during the competition, but somehow takes all the blame. Because Vanessa's telling Chris that Brooke encouraged him to win, and that's the only reason why Sheldon won. Which I don't know how Vanessa got that interpretation. Maybe it's just Vanessa being Vanessa, but like I just had to bring that up.
Brooke encouraged Sheldon.
Yeah. The only reason he won, Chris, is because Brooke was telling him he had to. She doesn't trust me.
Come on.
She just makes things up about Brooke constantly.
Another really just, I don't know what she's just running around, giving information out, giving it to the wrong people, and then saying she didn't give that person the information. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Brent, where do you stand on this Sheldon move here? Obviously, his position, he was put into a precarious position, and so safety is always nice, being the HOH, sort of like reset your position. And now that the game is so different, is it good to be in that position of power, or is it too much to have won 2 back-to-back here?
I think he's going to be fine, and I don't begrudge him for winning this HOH because there was a massive reset in the game where Jamar and Kyle were booted in a 48-hour period, and Kyle, if not Jamar, were main parts of his onion sort of alliance that he was developing with many different people. To then ask him, okay, the game board has been entirely reshuffled, but we want you to go out here and we want you to throw an HOH that we know you're totally capable of winning. I think that is entirely a bridge too far. He doesn't know exactly what Godfrey.
But he has allies in the game right now.
Yes,
like he has people who would not on his radar, with the exception of the evictors and what's her name, Minley.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I take your point on that. However, Sheldon has never been totally comfortable with Chris. He's better with him. He's cool with him. But Sheldon was this close to being nominated
for him. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he had to kiss a lot of ass that first week, which, remember, that first week is like, longer than a first week in the Big Brother house. He had to kiss a lot of ass when Chris was HOH because Sheldon was almost nominated. And then, yes, they've come a long way, but I still think that after such a massive, like, literally taking the game board and, like, just throwing it up in the air and letting the pieces come back down. I mean, look at Vanessa and Minley are talking again after they were fighting. Like, what the hell's going on? I think it's just too much to expect him to throw the HOH. Obviously, in hindsight, it would have been a good call. Chris would have done exactly what he's doing here.
His relationship with Chris is definitely not 100% solid. Yeah, considering the guy was gonna get rid of him if Kyle hadn't gotten his ear.
Yeah,
and now
exactly.
Kyle is gone. So.
And Sheldon remembers that too, because that's the only time his name has come up. The only time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I do think there are 2 sides to this. I think that ultimately, when Sheldon is looking at the results, he did regret it, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't really need to win this one." And then especially once it comes up that that Carol is now wanting to self-evict, which is what I'm going to call it. That is like, well, now it seems even less needed that I won this, because it seems that anybody would have done what is being done here with Carol for this time being. So we see that Carol comes up to Sheldon and she says that, hey, I would like for you to put me on the block and to send me home. And both Sheldon and Chris are rightly like, well, that kind of screws us over. No, like, we just fought for an hour and a half to win this HOH, and you're asking to just make it null and void. Could you have not asked for this prior to the HOH competition? I feel like that would have helped. Can you not wait for next week so that people know before they win the HOH what the plan is? And so she says like, oh, okay, I'll wait a week. And so, but Sheldon says after this, like, that she came back to him like a half hour later, and she was like, Sheldon, though, I've been thinking, do I have the votes to stay against Min though?
is such a weird season where people are actually worried, asking, "Do I have the votes to stay?" Because they want to go home. Like normally, people are like, "Do I have the votes?"
Godfrey,
Yeah,
are
the
you
votes to go home.
are you with me on this? What I want is for Orisa to come on the screen and just literally tear them a new asshole. I just want her to.
All right. She's not coming anywhere.
Well, she can come. She can telephone in via Skype. But like she can just like light into them and say, literally, anybody that wants to quit, get out.
Please.
Get out right now. And we're gonna play the game with the people that want to play the fucking game. Like I would live, Taryn.
Yeah. Like what I really like from an inside source who told me that I feel like they kind of messed up when they let Nico self-evict because Nico was already on the block. He was gonna go home anyway because the votes were falling all against him. It would have been unanimous.
Of course they did.
And production knows that. They know how every vote is gonna go, but they let Nico have that option of leaving literally 2 days before the eviction.
I thought it was 1 day. Oh, well, anyway, whatever.
Yeah, 1 day. But if they had just kind of bribed him, give him some food, some snacks, and say, hey, man, just stay till the eviction and get voted out, you wouldn't have this attitude in the house where people feel like they can just quit if it's not going their way. Because I feel like with this might not be the first or second time that we're going to see it this season. When somebody's on the block, they might just say, you know what? I don't want to be embarrassed and get voted out. I'd rather quit. Like, what's to stop people from doing that? They should have put their foot down and say, no, obviously you can't force somebody in the house. But I'm pretty sure they can do some things to incentivize the person to want to stick around a little bit. Even lie to say, hey, buddy, you're safe. Just stay.
Yeah, I feel like they are doing the opposite of what they should be doing. Like with Nico, he was going to be leaving anyway, so incentivize him to stay, do whatever you need to do. But I personally,
shocking, give us a little shocking part of the first shocking season 8. Oh my God, a self-eviction. But now it's kind of kicking them in the butt.
Yeah, I felt like that was part of it too. Like it was a shocking beginning this season 8. That's what they wanted, Taryn. Anyway,
but personally, I feel personally that that with the Carol situation, I think that if somebody wants to quit when they're not, it's not because they've already lost. It's just because they feel like they don't want to be there anymore. I feel like just let them quit. Keep the people who are trying to quit because they've already lost and they just don't want the embarrassment of getting evicted. But let the people who want to leave, because if you don't, then they're just going to stick around and keep wanting to quit and not doing anything and just eating up space and time and game and wasting everybody's time. So just let them go. And especially in this situation, if Carol wants to leave, let her go and let us have an actual week of gameplay this week, especially in a situation where we don't know how many more weeks of gameplay we're going to get in the season because we don't know how long the season is going to be able to last in the current environment.
But it can only be the longest if you have players in there. If people keep quitting and getting kicked out for doing nothing, then you're gonna have no season.
Yeah. So this idea that like somehow that by walking out with her head held high because she was voted out instead of self-evicting is somehow more respectable, to me it's absolutely not. It is much less respectable.
Yeah.
But what are we gonna do? The
show
we were living with.
Taryn, did you hear that Carol would like for Big Brother Canada to fly her family in so that she can have a made-for-TV family moment when she comes out of the house on Thursday?
She doesn't know. There's no audience, girl. And flights are not allowed in Canada. People are not just flying around.
I know.
That's the thing, too. Like, with the nomination ceremony, like, you can see the look on her face that she's just, like, so smug that this whole week gets to be about her. Everybody has to do what I want.
For that. Who did he nominate again? Min Lee and Carol?
Yeah.
Oh, God, man. He should not have given in.
I don't know if he had a choice here.
Yeah.
I really don't. Yeah. So that's where we're at with the Carol situation. We got some other very strange clips here in the episode. I have to imagine because there's not much else going on in the house. We got an entire little segment. It had to have been like close to 2 minutes, right? Or maybe at least a minute and a half of Angie just kind of chilling, going into the Expedia room, falling asleep, waking up, and I was kind of just like,
what did we watch?
Yeah, like, are you trying to tell me that I should fall asleep during your episode? Like, not sure.
This was so weird. Here. Like they've done this a couple of times. I feel like Godfrey, where they'll just like drop some weird character moment into an episode. But like they did it with John Luke last week, where they had him doing some random thing. What'd you say?
Which segment was that again? The John Luke segment. Like,
there was a Sharon. I wasn't there. Am I making this up?
There have been a couple John Luke segments like that.
Like him dancing or
yeah.
House. I think that's what it is, really.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case you forgot, Angie's still in this house. She's
just sleeping.
Some lady running around.
We didn't get any. We never got any Godfrey sleeping clips on season 3.
Oh boy, yeah, man. Like they.
And you were the sleeping giant.
Yes, they got.
Yeah. So we got that. We did get a little bit of a heads up in the HOH competition. It's Vanessa talking about how she lost her good pal Kyle, who she definitely was loyal to, and now her alliance KVBS, which she was loyal to, has shifted into a new alliance, and this new alliance is a 5-person alliance. It's Sheldon, Brooke, Vanessa, Chris, and Sue. So we're getting the heads up that is one of the new structures here in the house.
Yeah, take it away, Godfrey.
Yeah, with this one, that alliance, I don't know how good I feel with having somebody like Vanessa still be even aligned with her. I feel like they sort of have to keep her around since she knew about the Kyle alliance, and maybe they fear she might want to expose that to the house and say, oh, by the way, we had this Final Four going on. So maybe that's why they still want to keep her in. But after she already was funneling out information and you caught her in a lie, I just think they got to distance themselves away from her a little bit.
And they have, they have distanced themselves from Vanessa. They have not told her everything insofar as what they're doing. There have been times in the past before where they would like make fake alliances with people. For instance, like First Out or Five Out. Sorry, whatever. The one with Hira, and they would make a fake alliance, and they would tell Vanessa, "Okay, this is the fake alliance." In fact, that actually came out. They told Vanessa, and then she told people, I think Min Lee, and then it went around, and then it came back, and then she was like, "Oh, I didn't do that," but she totally did. But in this instance, they were making a potential Final 3 with Min. They were having other talks with people about working together and making alliances, even if they don't have a name, and they have not told Vanessa about this stuff. So I feel like it's what you said, where they have to keep, they have to keep tangentially related to her in the house, so she doesn't totally go rogue. And they are still, working with her in quotes, but beyond that, I think they have other people that are higher on their totem pole. I'm kind of waiting to see if Vanessa can realize that or not.
The problem with this alliance that they got they are aligned with Vanessa, they are aligned with Chris, and they are aligned with Sophie. Sue.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's kind of like they're the lions are aligning with the lions, and then you're leaving the sheep and the mice running around, the Hira, the Angie, and I guess the Rianne and the Maddie. So I'm like, so you're going to target all those guys, the people who would be the floaters, and you're going to carry the strong players with you to the end. I just don't get that part of it. I get it for a guy like Sheldon, he wants more shields around him, more people to distract away from him. But I'm like, if you're a person like Suzanne, or you're a person like Vanessa, wouldn't you be thinking, do I really want to go farther with these strong players? I feel like that should not be their main alliance that they're going to be loyal to. Be loyal to Hira. He's probably gonna last longer than everybody else in there. Angie, nobody's coming after those people. And I just feel like you want to have people who have longevity in the game around you, not people who are probably gonna be attacked next week.
Yeah, I think their problem
lines.
Their problem is their loyalty right now. Not that they're overly loyal, but kind of their reliance on Sheldon and Brooke, who, when they were part of KVBS, were using a little bit of the Brigade or Pretty Boys strategy of divide and conquer and playing the entire house, being aligned with as many people in the house as possible. Now, Brooke and Sheldon have continued that just on their own, which is why, like, because they are now in an alliance with everyone in the house, including this 5-person alliance. But what makes this confounding from Vanessa's point of view is, okay, I was in an alliance with Sheldon, Brooke, and Kyle called KVBS, and in that alliance, we were playing the entire house. We were making fake alliances. We were making relationships with everyone. We were dividing and conquering. Now that Kyle's gone, I'm going to be in an alliance with Brooke and Sheldon, and this is our crew. It's us against the world.
Like, so suddenly changed their business model? No, they're doing the exact same thing.
Exactly, just without you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you know, that's Vanessa for you. Godfrey, you've been watching, you've been seeing Vanessa on the screen here, right? Can you make sense of her game at all?
Vanessa's game right now is just it really is all over the place. At one, like, on one hand, I kind of see where she's coming from. Yeah, she was trying to branch out with Min Lee, somebody who she seems to vibe with on a genuine thing, which is always good. You want to work with people you really, really like, because you're more likely to not get backstabbed by them. The only problem I have with Vanessa is just the way, like, when you guys remember the episode where they told her to throw the competition, she tells Min Lee, and of course Min Lee tells the entire house, everybody, including the people who are the subject of the whole conversation. Like, I just feel like she's giving away too much information and she's scrambling too much when she doesn't have to. She was so safe in KBG or whatever. in there.
KBG, I like that better. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, but she was so safe, and I just hate when I see people who are in a good, comfortable position playing as though they're at the very bottom. Like, some people like that. They'd like to see players who are playing hard. Like I expect that type of gameplay and scrambling from Min Lee, not from Vanessa. You're sitting pretty. Nobody has even mentioned Vanessa prior to that. I don't think she was even a problem prior to that. But now, because she's just running around and she's overplaying when it's too early, that's my problem with her game. I feel like she's just trying to get involved too much, and it's backfiring. Each week we see her take another L after L because she's getting caught up in these lies, and eventually, like, nobody's gonna trust her.
And she explains it away by saying, "Well, I'm an emotional person, and I wear my heart on my sleeve. So, you know, I let my guard down. I told Min this, and I'm like, no, you're just overplaying. I feel like you're just like, you're just playing for the sake of playing, and you don't recognize that you're actually harming your game."
Yeah. And also this, Min Lee already trusted her. They already had a good relationship. I don't feel like she had to give that information to further build trust. She could have just said, "Hey, I had a conversation with these guys, and I felt like they wanted me to throw the competition." Like, say you felt like it. Don't say you heard it, because now if she exposes you,
right,
they're obviously going to say, "We did not say that." But if she just says, "Hey, from my observation, that's what I felt like they were trying to do," Min Lee would still take that seriously, but she wouldn't run around and say, "Oh my God, do you hear what these guys said?" Because she wouldn't have any ammo to do it. So, like, I feel like these are just like little micro parts of the game when you're talking to people that you gotta remember stuff like this, you know, like, just say, "Hey, that's how I felt. That's what I thought they're doing." Like, don't give out the actual information, man, especially when there's only 4 people who are involved in the conversation. And if it leaks, they know it's one of the 4 who did it. It just wasn't smart.
Yeah, I'm with you. Godfrey, we had the previous episode that we saw on Thursday night was a crazy one, where we saw Jamar and Kyle. Well, we didn't actually see it happen, but we were told that they were ejected from the game. There's been a lot of discussion surrounding these decisions that were made. Do you have any thoughts on what's been happening there in the past?
Man, like I just think this whole situation was super fishy. Like, just to like run it back, this whole starts with Jamar calling a house meeting. Just by that alone, you know it's not gonna go good. They have a heated exchange. Jamar tells Kyle, "Hey, if we were on the streets, well, I'm paraphrasing here. If we were outside, muscles cannot help you in the game. They can't help you outside. You would get popped." And I guess Kyle took that as popped, like I'm gonna get whacked, killed. Calls Jamar out, says, "Hey, Jamar, you can get kicked out for saying something like that." Jamar quickly tries to backpedal and say, "Oh, I didn't mean you were gonna get popped. I just meant, you're gonna get hurt outside." He apologizes to Vanessa, says, "I am not a violent person. This is absolutely not what I meant." So I feel like just by that alone, production, if you're gonna page him, call him up and say, "Hey man, what you said, that's kind of inappropriate. We're running the show here, buddy. You can't be saying stuff like that." But I feel like they acted too quickly. They pulled the plug too fast. Like, I don't know, maybe like the main producers were working at home that day and some guy on the shift just said, kick him out. They acted way too fast. And of course, Twitter, who we all saw this transpire, we knew that, come on, man, you gotta be kidding me. You guys kicked a person out. Big Brother US people have been kicked out before, but they're actually from trying to throw hands, like Russell's cousin or uncle try to headbutt that player. You had Shima go Hurricane Shima, break equipment, and now you have a kid who literally said something that might not even mean that. Who knows? Where I'm from, popped means get hit in the face. Maybe some other neighborhood, it might mean get shot. But I feel like they acted way too quickly. Maybe they took a look at Twitter. They're like, "Oh my God, people are not happy. This is not going down well." On top of that, it's the one black guy. The first person kicked out happens to be a black dude. And you got headlines saying Big Brother house guest threatens to shoot another guy. That just doesn't look good. I feel like they realized what they did, and in an effort to do some damage control, because now you have people, they're showing every bad thing Kyle has said in the house. And rightfully so, people are upset about it. And like, well, what about when Kyle said this? What about when he tried to get somebody to use the N-word? And they're nitpicking. So production goes like, well, we got to do damage control. Maybe if we kick Kyle out, it will silence people and they'll be like, it's fair. But that's even more ridiculous because you don't really have a reason to kick out Kyle. What has he actually done? He was on the receiving end of the hurtful, controversial comments you said. And then that whole explanation from Marissa where she says, well, we observed problematic behavior from Kyle, but yet you're not showing us any footage. Like, wouldn't it make more sense to show us this behavior so we know what not to do as a teaching moment? I just feel like they were looking for any reason to just kick him out so they can sort of make it a make-out call for kicking out Jamar. And the whole situation is unfortunate because now a lot of people have lost faith and trust in Big Brother. Like, if you guys are going to sweep this under the rug, what about when something happens when the feeds are not on, The whole situation just doesn't make sense. And on a final note, too, what I really didn't like is that on top of that, they aired the segment with Carol, where she made the racially insensitive joke. So I'm like, but you're willing to air that and potentially ruin Karen's reputation outside the house. But Kyle's behavior that we don't know of, it's some mysterious footage. You're not going to show all the stuff that he said. Like, at least put it on a level playing field. And there's no headlines about Kyle right now going out about the bad stuff he did in the house. So the whole situation, it just seems it's all unfair to like everybody involved. Like, I feel like I like the last season of the US. They handled it well, where you had the two Jack guys.
Yeah.
Their names, right? Yeah.
Jack and Jackson. Yeah.
At least at the end of the show, Julie Chen addressed it, showed all the footage, said, guys, this is what you guys said. What do you got to say about that? And I feel like that was a more mature way to handle it, where you're not really throwing somebody under the bus, but you are bringing what they said to light and letting them either defend themselves and let the viewers be the judge, you know, let the people decide if they're not with it or not. But yeah, I don't think those two guys shouldn't have been kicked out. It was just mishandled, and maybe moving forward now they might just call people in the room and kind of, you know, give them the tag instead of do that. What do you guys think about it?
I think you're completely spot on. You mirror a lot of thoughts that I've already expressed on the podcast, and especially your point about, like, I think you're completely right. I think that they acted far too quickly with Jamar. They got a lot of pushback for it. They recognized that they made a mistake, but they didn't. And I think this is key. I don't think they realized why it was a mistake. I think they saw that it was a mistake because people were angry with them, and so they were just like, Kyle. And they
people were mad because they didn't kick out Kyle, but no,
right.
We don't want anyone to get kicked out. We just don't feel like you guys kicked him out we felt like the threats were not serious threats. They were probably said in jest. Like, we know Jamar's character on the show he's a goofball. I don't think, like, even if somebody really felt uncomfortable, it's like, come on, you've been living with this kid for like how long? You really think he's gonna now order a hit on
Godfrey,
you?
I just want to stop you really quickly there, because I don't know. Did you see Aika's video that she posted on her YouTube channel where she talked about the outrage of the Big Brother fans? If you don't, I will retweet the link, but I just wanted to bring this up really quickly because this has come up over and over again that, you know, Kyle and Vanessa, that Jamar, you know, acted upset a little bit in the house meeting, but of course, why wouldn't he be upset when his girl Minlee is, you know, trying to be backdoored and he's not getting what he wants from the HOH? Like, he has a right to be PO'd there, but he got up and walked around, and at that point, Kyle and Vanessa said that they were uncomfortable. But of course, you know, this ignores all the other stuff that they themselves have said to Jamar in the past, their microaggressions and their BS and trying to get him to say the N-word and all this bullshit. Okay, so Aika's point in the video was that people of color are so used to saying, to trying to diffuse the situation when white people say, I'm uncomfortable, which is what Jamar tried to do.
Consequences for that.
Yeah. What she wants, though, is for people of color to start saying, you know what? I'm uncomfortable with you. I'm uncomfortable with you. Can you imagine if Jamar had said to Kyle when he was pulling his bullshit?
Yes.
Said, dude, I'm uncomfortable with you right now. Would production have treated it the same way? I don't think they would have, but I like to think that it would have put them to the test about whether or not they're serious about behavior in the Big Brother house.
To be honest, what you're saying is definitely, I've heard it a lot. I've had discussions even like with my sister too, just watching the show, and said that, you know, like, if maybe it's time that we got to fight back and start saying that too, and say, hey man, you're making me feel kind of in fear for my life here. I'm uncomfortable with what you're saying.
Yeah, why do white people have a monopoly on that? I don't like. And honestly, until Aika said this, I didn't really realize it. I
feel like it's more self-explanatory. You know, like, I just feel like if Jamar had said that, it would not have been taken as seriously. Like, I just feel like from maybe someone like Vanessa being directed at Jamar would not be seen as deadly. Like, think about it this way. If, let's say, little old Maddie said, hey, you're going to get popped, Jamar. Like, they probably would have edited that to be a joke or something. There's a funny, really interesting viral clip that keeps circulating on Twitter. I'll probably tag you guys in it after, where right after Jamar says, hey, but people make gun noises all the time, they saw a montage of
Karen with her boom. Yeah, I know, right?
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
So, like, see, like, other times it's like almost like when a white player does it, it's not as scary, it's not as aggressive. And another thing too that really made me actually feel uncomfortable is this was the first week or the first episode where Kyle really went off on Minlee. Like, he was stomping his feet because she said something about, oh, you guys gotta let me sleep, you know, you're making too much noise. And Kyle just went berserk, like he was on a rage. I actually thought he was gonna snap the poor girl in half. And I can only imagine if you had like a black player, like let's say somebody like Anthony, 6'3", if he had acted in that way, it would have been seen as something super hostile. They probably would have hey, dude, you can't do that. What are you doing? But I feel like with Kyle, it was almost just overlooked. And right there, I was like, man, this guy really, he seems like a ticking time bomb, you know? And like, in fairness to Kyle, like, he was upset, he was justified, but it just goes to show that, like, you know, behaving badly in the house or like being aggressive is viewed really worse if you're a person of color.
Yeah. And I will say that they have talked on the feeds about Kyle's absence in the house and how much more comfortable they feel without Kyle there.
But speak up and say it though.
Yeah. And really the vibe has changed in the house for sure with Kyle gone. That it's just a much lighter feeling, that people are much happier in general. They're joking around more.
He was like, Kyle was really a credit to his game. He was actually playing a pretty good game with all this aside. You know, it would have been great to see how far he would have gone with that. This is why it's just so upsetting to see like the first 2 self-evictions. Like this is how soft Canada is. In the US, you have to literally slap somebody, punch them. Here, you make one joke, you're kicked out.
And Godfrey, I think the reason why I still feel the need to talk about it a little bit, I see a couple people are like, "Can we move on in the chat?" And yeah, we'll talk about the gameplay, Keegan. Somebody in the chat who's asking us to move on to the gameplay, but they didn't give us closure. Like they didn't show us anything.
It's upsetting.
Yeah.
Like you cannot just end the note. They sort of show the house meeting, but you don't show the actual highlight reel, the one part that we really want to see. And you're like, oh yeah, it's like, why are you covering up? I feel like the reason they did not show the full Jamar house meeting and the reason they didn't show the reason he was actually kicked out is because they figured the casual view was, if they see that, we're going to be like, give me a break.
Yeah.
You somebody over that.
Totally.
So they leave people to speculate and go like, oh my God, he must have really done something bad. And then with Kyle, they didn't show any problematic behavior because there was no sufficient footage that would justify kicking him out. Of course, there are like comments Kyle has made, but I don't think anything where somebody would be removed from the game. That's like they need to. I hope they address this on finale night in some way or form.
Like I said, I would have been fine at the time, and I still would be fine if if Aaron Brock, the producer of Big Brother Canada, simply came out and said, you know what, upon further reflection, we made a bad call. We made a bad call with Jamar. We got that one wrong. We're human. We make mistakes. We got that one wrong, and we're sorry for that. And here's what we'll do to try to make sure that doesn't happen again. Like that, because Big Brother US, they got pushed back on what happened with their behavior on Big Brother 21, and then they came out with, okay, here's what we're going to do to make sure that doesn't happen again. We're going to try to increase diversity in the cast. We're going to let people know what they can and can't do when they come into the house. We're going to be extra stringent about watching that sort of behavior and watching those microaggressions and things like that, and calling them out when they happen. But
yes,
I haven't seen any of that from Big Brother Canada.
You haven't seen. I feel like they're just hoping that people forget about this topic in a week or two. They're hoping, because we're still early in the game, maybe they're hoping as the season goes on, people find new favorites. Maybe this will just be like an afterthought. Oh, Jamar got kicked out, but I don't know, man. The kid actually got GoFundMe, man.
I know, right? I just want to say, because I talked to you guys about it on our last podcast. I think it ends tonight, actually, the GoFundMe for I Stand With Jamar. You guys, seriously, we raised over $5,000 for him, and I am just like, I can't believe that, like, the Big Brother community did that. Like, that is freaking awesome.
Man.
Huh?
It's my GoFundMe. Like, I'm.
We do. We need to go. Godfrey was robbed. I've made this clear already. He needs
robbed.
Godfrey. Honestly, Big Brother Canada owes Godfrey $80,000.
$80,000. I'm waiting for my check, guys.
Yeah.
I'll give you a break for now. I know you guys are donating to real causes, all of that. But when the dust settles, I'm waiting for my GoFundMe, guys. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah. All right. So let's get back to talking about the game and how Carol's quitting.
Okay. Cool.
Because that's the game.
Yeah, that's the game.
there's really not much.
Honestly, Carol's quitting, and Brooke and Sheldon are running everything. That is what's happening right now.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's happening.
who do you guys really think is kind of has a shot to start something? I know there's the evictors, but they seem to have just faded in the background. Are they still in business, or
Well,
are they?
we're gonna do is we're gonna get into the live feeds in just a second, and so we'll talk about that when we get into the live feeds. One final thing. One final thing to talk about before we get into live feeds is that there's a new twist in the game.
Oh my God! Yeah, thank you for reminding me.
Wendy's, what was it? Wendy's power necklace or something?
I about fell over when this happened. I was like, what? He's going to get even more power. And then I was cackling on the ground when it was like literally the most useless thing ever, considering the way the week's going to go.
I was like, hand him the game already. Jeez.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But yeah, then it turns out to be not only would this have been like a power with not a ton of teeth to begin with, but in a week where Carol's self-evicting, it's completely pointless.
Like, what is it, Survivor? Like in Survivor, it actually works, but still a vote, in Big Brother, when it's probably going to be unanimous who's voting here to take.
Yeah. It's funny because they were joking around last night about, I think Hira said, we've probably already ruined 3 of their twists.
Yeah. Or they ruined like the double eviction, a triple possibly. I don't know if those things are going to happen anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we can take solace in anything, it's that it's ruining their twists.
Yeah.
So I'm down with that. All right. I mean, that's about anything else that we wanted to talk about in the episode before we talk spoilers?
No spoilers. Stack wanted me to ask this real quick. She said that she has a question for Godfrey. Godfrey, she wants to know, will you be pissed if Carol gets to go to the finale? Let's assume she's evicted on Thursday, by the way. Will you be pissed if Carol gets to go to the finale if Nico, Jamar, and Kyle are left out of the finale? Will that annoy you?
Absolutely pissed if that happens. Like, I don't even want to see Carol at finale weekend, let alone to go to the. Like, are you kidding me? Somebody who is quitting the game. Like, I'd rather have Nico. Like, bring Nico back. Like, because that kid seemed like he was stressed, man. Like, nothing was going well for him. The embarrassment of going home first. So you can kind of sort of relate with somebody like that. But with Carol, no. This is what's really annoying is the fact that she wants to be voted out formally so that the history books, it's not going to show that she quit the game. It's just going to seem like, the house guest did a noble deed by voting her out. And she wants to still get to possibly be in jury and still get paid. No, honey, if you're quit. But none of this, vote her out so she can sit in jury and decide the fate of the winner. Like, how can you even have confidence in somebody like that voting for a winner when they quit? Yeah. They were so uninvested in the game. But they still want to be kind of part of it. No, I don't think she should be invited.
Yeah, I mean, even like as part of like the pre-jury coming back, I feel like no, this is a quit. This should be labeled as a quit.
Hell no.
Yeah. And so here's what I'm hoping for on finale night. When everybody is Skyping in, because let's face it, they're not actually going to be there. When everyone's Skyping in, Carol's going to just be calling over and over, and then somebody's just going to be like pressing the ignore button.
Pay attention to me. Come on. Pay attention. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, if he really manages to get and convince all these people to vote her out, then I guess technically the rules are the rules, and like that would let's.
Nah, Godfrey, honestly, I'll stop you because like the thing I don't think you understand is that there's the fear that these house guests have that if they don't do this, the show is going to be canceled. They really between the COVID virus and the fact that they've had huh? Say it again.
The show's going to be canceled. Vanessa and Minley.
Brooke and Sheldon, who are super fans of the show, and other people have talked about this, and also Sheldon's got a little bit of like unofficial, official like prodding from the DR, as Taryn and I have alluded to he feels like he needs to give Carol what she wants here and not try to make herself evict on her own. I'm not sure, but I feel like there's some funny stuff going on.
I don't think the show is not going to get canceled for that.
I know. I agree with you, but they don't know what we know. They just know how bad it looks to only have one person. If Carol self-evicts here and they don't give her what she wants, to have 4 out of 5 people self-evict or quit when no one in the history of Big Brother Canada has ever done that before. So like they just, and with the COVID virus, because they've been getting updates about the coronavirus and how bad it is, and they got the letters from their families, so they know it's pretty bad. You know, it's a lot. Like
honestly, for me, like these people, they just need to. It would be such a horrible move, man, for everybody involved. It is not in their best interest to voluntarily vote Carol out. You're better off having 2 people leave, lessen the numbers, trim some fat out the house. Have 2 people go out instead of 1. It's like, why does she get to decide when she leaves the game? No,
right.
Like Angie said, it's a democratic vote, and we're not just gonna do what you want. So unless production is really in their ear trying to, and I don't know, like, why would production would even want to do that? Like,
that's what I'm confused about. But we are seeing Sue very upset in the episode about the situation, and she is very much of the mind that she does want Carol to just, if she wants to leave, then let her leave. Just like, we need to get Min out of the house. And I'm glad that I remembered this, because I think this is something that should be talked about here for the episode, because we saw it in the episode that Sue is very concerned that Min will target her and Vanessa, and that's because of some of what we saw last week, where Min obviously got into it with Vanessa because Vanessa ratted her out and lied about it and so on and so forth. What we haven't seen on the show is that Min also got into it with Sue, because Min was jealous of Sue's relationship with Jamar and complained about Sue, saying that Sue should be ashamed of her behavior with Jamar, that Sue has a boyfriend, and if she was her boyfriend, she would have broken up with her. And Vanessa was in on that as well. And so that comment got back to Sue when Min and Vanessa got into an argument, because Vanessa had no reason to keep it a secret anymore. And so Sue got very upset with Min, and Min tried to explain to Sue that, yes, I said that, but Vanessa was also saying that, and Vanessa has also said a lot of other things. She's been trying to get people to go after you. She's been saying that you're the female Kyle, so on and so forth. But Sue did not believe Min, and Sue kind of feeling like Min is probably going to go home anyway this week, even though at the time she did not know whether there would be an eviction or not, that she basically just shut Min down and did not engage and did not try to do any kind of damage control with Min. She just was like, you know what, Min, you're dead to me, essentially. And their relationship ended there. And so now she's worried that her and Vanessa, the 2 biggest people who had issues with her last week, are going to be on the chopping block if Min wins power. Now, the thing is, Vanessa has been talking to Min. Vanessa has been rekindling her relationship, has been doing damage control, to the point where Min doesn't really want to go after Vanessa anymore. She does still want to go after Sue, because Sue has continued to ignore her and target her and raise a fit when she's not being targeted this week. And it's really it's not a good look here for Sue, who has otherwise been playing a good game, Brent.
Yeah, I'm really upset with Sue, because I love her. I think she's done a great job. This is honestly, to my mind, this is the first time that Sue has not gotten her way. Like, basically, she has gotten her way this entire game. Everything has gone her way.
She was almost gone the first week, yeah.
What? Say again?
She was almost gone the first week on the block.
Yeah, of course, exactly. But then after that, she quickly pivoted. Like, when it was down to her and Nico, like, she had all the votes. She knew she was set. She got into an alliance, and she was ready to go, right, with the KBBS stuff. And then this is the first time where she really hasn't gotten her way, and she's acted like such a baby about it. Like, really playing with her emotions, not having any sort of urgency about trying to mend her relationship with Min Lee. Like, anything can happen in Big Brother. Min Lee could totally win an HOH.
Yeah.
And it was so unnecessary that she's a target of Min's anyway. Like,
right?
that relationship had no reason to break down in the way that it did.
No, but she was being a little high and mighty, because she knew she was safe in her alliance, and Min Lee was on the block, and Min Lee was going home. She didn't anticipate Kyle also being pulled from the game, so then that caused the eviction to be canceled. And then, here we are. But then again, even then, she's had a couple days since Sheldon won HOH again to go to Min Lee and try to make things better, but she hasn't done anything like that. All she has to do is, like, think about it this way, Godfrey. Minley has been nominated by Sheldon twice, and I know that they have done like some make good. I know they have a final 3. I know they've talked about all like I got that. Still, it remains that Sheldon has nominated Minley twice. There is no reason why Minley, if she wins HOH, why she should be going after Sue. She should be going after Sheldon.
Yeah.
Brooke.
Or Vanessa. Like so many
Or at
other
least
people
thinking
before
about
Sue.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Sue is like number 6 on the list of people for her to go after. This is crazy.
Minley ever on the block is as a result of Sheldon. Yeah.
Right.
So it does it's obvious who she's coming after.
Well, I will tell you this. If Minley stays in the house this week, I hope that she is the cause of Brooke or Sheldon's demise, because if this is the way it goes, they totally deserve it.
I hope so.
They are ceding power when they don't have to. So, and I know I'm asking a lot of them. Basically, I'm asking them to. Sorry, go ahead, Godfrey.
When they have the power, they're wasting it.
Yeah, they're totally.
I mean, to be fair, they would have gotten Min out last week, and they would have gotten her out this week if not for a lot of different interfering things, right?
The brother gods just don't want Minley to go.
All they have to do.
That's why I called her a cockroach.
Taryn, all they have to do is pull the trigger. They can pull the trigger and get rid of Minley if they want to.
I don't think that's the right move. I really don't.
I don't think so either, but they can do it.
All right. Well, let's get into the spoilers then.
All right.
That's what we have from the episode. Thank you guys for hanging out with us for the episode talk. Godfrey, if these people that don't want to listen to feed talk, if they want to find you on social media, where can they do that?
Yeah, you guys can find me at Godfrey Mangwiza. That's my Instagram. I also have another fan Instagram at Baby Can Cribs. Cribs with a Z at the end instead of an S. So at Baby Can Cribs or at Godfrey Mangwiza. We can talk Big Brother there. And then I'm also on Twitter at The Lady Pleaser.
All right. You can, of course, find me on Twitter at Armstrong Taryn. Brent is at OneLuckyGay. I will be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern to update you on everything that happened today on the Big Brother Canada 8 live feeds. And then Tuesday night, we're going to have our next roundtable of the season. So make sure you tune in for that. And it's time to get into our spoilers with no song.
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the following warning. This is a spoiler. That's all I know. I'm not doing the rest. But the chat wants me to do like the whole thing. It's not happening. Come on.
All right. So let's talk about what's happening here. I mean, honestly, I did get most of the game talk out of the way in the episode talk, because there's really not much else to tell you, other than maybe get into a little bit more detail about what's happening here, which is that, and I did allude to this, Sheldon and Brooke are in an alliance with every single person in the house. And I don't mean one big house-wide alliance. I mean several different chunks of people that all interlap. There's not a single person who is not included in some way, and not a single person talking about targeting either of them anytime soon. That we have basically, we have Vanessa and Chris targeting Hira and JL. You've got Hira, JL, Maddie, and Ree, the evictors, plus Hira, all targeting Chris and Vanessa. You have Min targeting Sue and wants to put Angie on the block next to her. And so yeah, here's the thing. I did agree. I think that Sheldon winning this HOH really could have been a bad thing for him. But he has used the power very well. It's really put him in a position to be seen as a reliable ally. And the fact that he is a big target is, I think, also helping, because so many of the people he's aligned with are thinking, Sheldon and Brooke, they're always together. Sheldon has won a bunch of competitions now. Somebody will go after them. Doesn't have to be us. They're a target in front of us. Little do they know, they're aligned with everybody in the house, and therefore nobody's target, and therefore nobody's shield. But they don't see that, because they don't see what Sheldon and Brooke are doing. And so, they seem to be getting away with it here, Godfrey.
Yeah, they seem to be getting away with it pretty good right now. Like, nobody is really Sheldon. You would think he'd be such an obvious target. But I guess, yeah, people are seeing him more as an ally right now, except for if you're Min Lee.
Even Min Lee has a final 3 with him now.
Yeah, it was exactly like, you know, Maddie and
And
Reed.
Rianne also
Yeah.
have an alliance with Sheldon and Brooke now.
Yeah, an alliance with Sheldon. Yeah, so like with the only, believe it or not, I feel like the only person who really would come after Sheldon would probably be Brooke. The only one smart enough to actually, because she's
Later
the
on
one
down the line, yeah.
like
Yeah.
so they together know how dangerous they are because like they see it. I feel like they are the only people who would come after each other. They're the only people smart enough to come after each other, and they're in a semi showmance, maybe.
Yes, that is part of what else is happening over the course of the week. They do appear to be falling deeper and deeper into each other.
Yeah, so
romantically.
It's weird that they're actually still running this game, and without somebody like Kyle, who as good as he was too out there. He was too, you know, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like he was just too out there.
Yeah.
Whereas Brooke and Sheldon, they are more relaxed, they're more calm, they're doing everything that Kyle and them would have been doing, but right now they're doing it, keeping it on the low. The only thing I don't like is how they keep winning the stuff. They don't have.
Yeah, and something that has actually helped in that regard is the veto competition, which did take place and was basically a pointless competition. To be clear here, they 100% plan on evicting Carol. They are all on board to do this. So this week is completely pointless. The veto was basically completely pointless. However, Hira won the veto, and this is very helpful for Sheldon because instead of the talk being Sheldon has won 2 back-to-back HOHs, a lot of the talk in the house is Sheldon's won 2 competitions, Hira's won 2 competitions, Chris has won 2 competitions. So those 3 are comp threats. We are assuming that, you know, JL kind of part 1 of veto. JL's probably also threatening. It seems like the guys in general are threats in the competitions, and it's not really specific to Sheldon.
Oof.
Yeah.
I would say like right now with the dynamic of that, man, I just can't believe that these people are agreeing to vote out Carol, man. Like this is so, it's beyond stupid, man. It is just the most foolish thing I've probably ever witnessed in history of watching Big Brother Canada. You're gonna get rid of somebody who literally is going to leave anyway. Why? Like there's no way this can possibly make sense. Maybe for Sheldon and Brooke, since they are now aligned with Min Lee, and they're like, hey, I guess Carol can go. Min Lee is more useful to us in the game. Well, clearly she's more useful than Carol would have been, because Carol is deciding to quit. But I just, for the rest of the people in the house, man, that can't possibly make sense. You guys are getting rid of somebody who was never going to win the game anyway, who is not a threat. The name of the game is you take people out who are a threat to you. You take people out who were going to come after you or who you think were going to win the game. Carol was doing none of that. From what I've observed, she's been pretty close, friendly with everybody. If anything, she would have been an asset. So it's actually infuriating. It's worse than Sheldon get kicked. It's worse than Jamar getting kicked out. It's worse than Nico self-evicting. Like it's just outright stupid. For anyone to sit down and say, "Guys, this is a great idea." Why?
I think that a lot of what's happening is the fear of looking like an asshole is a big part of it for a lot of them. The fear of the producers being angry with them is definitely a big part of it for some of them. Now, Sue, we've talked about Sue really being against this. Sue has been going around and trying to round people up to say, let's blindside Carol and keep her, and then we'll turn it into a double eviction, and Carol will have to just walk out the door. But she's getting no traction. Vanessa is turning her down. Vanessa actually wants Min to stay right now.
It's too soon. I don't know why it's freaking Saturday and Sunday. Why the hell is she bringing this up now? Wait till Tuesday evening. Wait till Wednesday morning. What? Does she really think does she really think she's going to be able to keep it a secret for 4 or 5 days? Come on.
Yeah.
she approached Hira about it as well, and Hira, who is like, I think genuinely a nice guy, doesn't just want to not look like an asshole, like genuinely is like, come on. Hira not on board. She approached Sheldon and Brooke about it. Sheldon was actually like, I kind of like this idea. Can we make this work? And Brooke was like, I don't think we can. We need 5 votes. First of all, we don't have those votes. Sue thinks that she has Hira and Vanessa, but they both basically politely turned her down. So that doesn't really exist there. And then even if they can get those votes, it's Brooke is saying, we look like assholes to not only the audience, but to the rest of the house who thinks that we should be doing this, and we'll ruin ourselves socially. We'll make ourselves look like heartless game players, which will destroy the perception we're trying to create in the house. And so unless everybody's on board, I feel like we can't do it. And everybody is probably not going to get on board. Even approaching somebody about this is probably enough to make them think twice about us in terms of like our cutthroatedness, right, in the game. So you know, and honestly, Sue is really one of the only people that is really gung-ho about trying to make it happen.
And the only reason why she's gung-ho about it is because the fact that she's made mistakes. Like, she's trying to fix her own mistakes, and she doesn't want to swallow her pride and go to Min and say, hey, let's settle this like women, and let's figure out what the hell is going on here, and why are you, did I do something to offend you? If I did, I'm so sorry. I was in a bad mood that day. Well, whatever. Own your shit and move on with it. There's no reason why they should be targeting each other. Again, Sheldon has nominated Mean Lee twice, and yet somehow if she got power, she's not going to nominate Sheldon, I don't think.
No, she's talked to the cameras about it. She's told everybody her plan is Sue and Angie, and she wants
which
to do
I
that.
love. Angie and Min Lee, they absolutely hate each other. They hate each other.
Angie, I believe, is voting Min out of the game this week.
Regardless
She has
of what
told
anybody
Carol
else does. She will not go along with Carol's spiel. So Angie has some self-respect. Angie is not going to vote. It's not going to be a unanimous vote, people.
Jeez. You know what would have been great, but I don't think Big Brother Canada has the balls to do this. This would be the perfect time for a nice little twist. Instead of the House voting, this week is Canada's vote.
Oh my God.
Saves Carol.
There's never been a better time for a Canada Saves vote. Never in my life have I advocated for this before. But that would be amazing.
Seriously, that would be the best thing. I don't know if
it'd be so great.
It will be a bigger blindside than Denise screwing Sam.
God.
Oh man, I really want that to happen now.
I know, right? That would be so great.
Why do we have to get the Wendy's power necklace?
Yeah.
Why couldn't it have been Canada Saves?
Yeah. Please.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, what did he end up picking with that? Do we know?
I mean,
he didn't play in the veto competition.
I do not believe he played in the veto competition, so
Right.
I imagine he picked the vote thing.
Okay.
Which
cancel out Angie's vote.
yeah.
Right. So it may be unanimous after all if he cancels out Angie's vote. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't really know his reasoning. He hasn't talked about this on the feeds. I am like, because my first thought was play in the veto and throw it, so that you have another loss on your record. But I think that perhaps he's just gonna maybe use it, because if he plays in the veto, then it makes it obvious that he used a power somehow.
That's
whereas
true.
if he takes away a vote, he might be able to just like, whoa, why was there a vote missing? Who knows? And it doesn't really fall on him, right? So that might be where it is. But I can't. I don't know for sure, because like I said, he hasn't talked about it.
Be honest, like I've just been doing the math here. With 12 people left, Sheldon's HOH, 2 people on the block, it means there are only 8 people who can vote, right? So if he cancels out a vote, he turns that to only 7 people voting, really, and 4 to win. He has Brooke to vote his way.
Well, yeah, he can get the people. It's just a matter of whether or not there's buy-in from the rest of the house. Like,
would be enough to do it.
Well, they started with 16 people, right? Was it 16 or 15, Taryn?
It was 16,
right?
and there are 12 people in the House right now, so there's 9 votes.
Yeah.
So if he takes
9
one
votes.
away, then he would
could
still
do it
need
with
5. But if he could do it with 4 and break the tie to
Right?
save Carol.
That would be such great TV. Oh my God, Sheldon, I would love you forever. Seriously,
would be great. But
like
yeah.
if he actually did that, like, and I love Min Lee and I want to keep her, and I at least want her to make the jury, but like this would be too good. Like if they actually did this and they just torched their games and lit it on fire, and they said, you know what, we're gonna do this for the good of the show. We're gonna keep Carol. We're gonna vote out Min Lee. It's a 4-4 tie. Sheldon breaks the tie. Carol, I'm gonna save you. I vote to evict Min Lee, and they both get up and just walk out. Like,
right. Like, I feel like the speech would be, Carol, get yourself out of here. I'm not doing it for you. Min, see ya.
Like he would if he wants to be a legend in the game, that will be a legend.
If he only knew. Only knew. But see, he doesn't know, though. That's the problem.
Yeah. He doesn't know that the season's going to get canceled anyway. It's not going to matter, so might as well go for it. All right.
Might as well.
Godfrey, have we touched on anything? Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up here?
Yeah, I think like that's pretty much it, man. I've said all that has to be said. I really I'm not down with this plan of voting Carol out, letting her save face. I feel like she just wants to self-evict. She can just self-evict, you know. Maybe, I don't know, Brent, maybe you want to start a GoFundMe for her.
She can go to hell. I'm not doing that for her. But I know, right? Truth be told, I did not start the GoFundMe. I donated to it and I shared it, but I did not start it. That was done by somebody else. Like Kathy Rousseau was the lady who started the GoFundMe for Jamar. But no, I did want to say really quickly, Taryn, that I am continually amazed by Sheldon, and as much as I hate on him sometimes, his amazing game that he's been playing. Like it is not an easy task to win back-to-back HOHs, and I mean back-to-back, like literally back-to-back, and to have this much control of the house and be so seen as being with Brooke all of the time. They're literally hanging on each other all of the time. There's some flirtmance, homance, something going on there. I don't know what it is, but still the house knows that it's there. And yet the entire house is like,
they're okay with it.
Yeah, they're okay with it because they feel like they know what that is. They feel like that other people will come for it eventually, that they're good people, that you can trust them. And so there's no need to come for them right now. So it is amazing to me that somebody who's won back-to-back HOHs and is doing as well as he is. But I think part of it is to do with the fact that what you said in the update, I can't remember if it was Sunday or Saturday, where you talked about the fact that Chris, on his HOH, he was seen as such a gamer. Like he stabbed Michael in the back and he lied right to his face and he got him out of the house. Whereas with Sheldon, it's just been like, look, I'm doing what the house wants me to do. I really don't trust you, Min. You know, like, and that's the reason why Min has come back to him, because he's been.
They feel like he's transparent. They feel like he was stab you in front as opposed to the back, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, where does Chris stand in this whole let's evict Carol plan? He's down.
He's on board. I mean, he wasn't happy about it at first, especially, but now him and Vanessa are both on board to keep Min around. Min has been doing good work with them. Vanessa does not trust Min. She still is annoyed by Min, but she feels like she humors Min enough that Min is back. You know, she's won Min over. I've got Min now, and she doesn't. But
well, I think
Min's not coming for her.
That's the thing. Yeah. She's not coming for Vanessa anymore, and she was before.
Yes.
So she has her more than she did.
Correct. Which is absurd in and of itself.
It's totally absurd. Like, I don't know how that happened, but good on Vanessa. Spoiler alert, I'm not giving Vanessa a 1 this week. I will just tell you guys that for the stock watch. She has done enough in my eyes that I cannot say that her chances of winning the game are a 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
In my eyes, she hasn't done enough to deserve she's done less, and that has been better for her.
Circumstances can change, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah, Melanie in the chat says week's not over, friend.
That's true. That's true. Thank you, Melanie. Yeah, we don't. What is it? Sunday? I got to put my scores in on Tuesday. Okay. Yeah. There's still time.
There's still time. Please, let my side, please.
Yeah. Godfrey, you asked about the evictors and what they're up to. I remember now during the show recap. The evictors right now are still together. That we have JL is working very closely with Sheldon and Brooke. He gets along with them really well, and he is helping bridge the gap that used to be there between Sheldon, Brooke, Maddie, and Ree. And so, like I said, they now have kind of an alliance. A working alliance happening right now with Hira involved as well. Hira is also very close to the evictors, and so that's like a crew over here, and all of them right now, of course, minus Sheldon and Brooke, who aren't actually targeting anyone because they don't need to. But all of the all of the evictors are right now targeting Chris and Vanessa. Chris in particular, but also Vanessa as the sort of alternate there, which is. What they have to be doing because Chris and Vanessa, as I've said, are targeting Hira and JL. Chris prefers Hira leave. Vanessa prefers JL leave. And so depending on which one wins the HOH, that's who the target is going to be, is what they've basically said.
Taryn, somebody in the chat, Kathy, wanted me to ask about... apparently, I missed this. Maddie overheard Vanessa way back in the day telling Min about the fact that Brooke wanted her to throw the veto, which of course in and of itself was a lie. Mm-hmm. But Maddie is claiming that she overheard Vanessa tell Min, and thus Maddie knows that Vanessa was lying in the house meeting when she was denying it to Min's face. Is that canon?
Whether or not she actually overheard it, she does believe that Vanessa did say it. Okay. So she does believe that Vanessa was lying about the whole thing. And something else, Min has also been doing work on the evictors. They still don't trust her, but like Vanessa and Chris, feel like, well, she's not coming after me, so we're okay with it. And because Min is calling her shot, she's saying, I'm going after Sue. Everyone's good with Sue, but nobody's great with Sue. And they're all very willing to be like, sorry, they don't mind. Sue. Yeah. So...
Yeah, it's so funny watching Sue because Sue looks like a crazy person walking around the house trying to get Min out. And everyone else is just like... so what do you want us to do? Like, do you want us to blow up our games for you? Like, are you crazy? We're not going to do that. And so then she becomes even more unstable because she's like, we have to get her out. If she wins HOH, I am totally gone. Do you hear me?
It's like, well, yeah, like you, keyword, you are totally gone.
Yeah, that's going to be good. I'm praying, guys. We have it. Like, if Minley survives again, that means she's going to be in jury, which means she has a shot to win the game.
It could be a 7-person jury. It
could be. But I'm hoping that the jury starts, and I normally prefer 7-person juries, but nevertheless, though, if Minley is in the jury, she's good. Or even if she survives past this, I think she's got a chance to win the game.
That's a good shot, definitely.
She nobody really is coming for her, especially. But then again, Min is Min, and she gets into trouble sometimes. So
Yeah, I do think it'll be interesting. I think that there are still some people, even the people who don't mind Min, who do talk about like she shouldn't really be here. Like it wasn't really due to anything she did that she stayed. But there's a lot of time for that perception to change. And it's not like people haven't won when they've massively benefited from twists or anything in the past. So if you think about it, what's really the difference?
Yeah, usually people get credit for it when they benefit from the twist. Don't we say that, Taryn?
Yeah, well, that's because that's true. But unfortunately, I think the perception is that the twists are more part of the game than anything else. But like, it's all random chance. Like, if you think about it, really, what's the difference? Yeah. So that's what we got for you. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern to update you on everything that happened today on the Big Brother Canada 8 live feeds. Godfrey, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This has been a blast.
Thank you guys too. Thank you, Taryn. Thank you, Brent, for the invite.
You're welcome. Always nice to see you, Godfrey.
Yes, anytime.
fun, man. Like, a lot of big things that people getting booted out. So yeah, this was a good week for me to come on here.
Yes. All right. You can find Godfrey. Tell us again where we can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at @BBCanCribs and at the Lady Pleaser. You can find me on Instagram at @BBCanCribs as well, with Cribs with a Z, and just my name at Godfrey Mangwiza on Twitter.
And don't forget to start a GoFundMe for Godfrey.
And okay, that's very important. Don't forget that.
80,000 is the goal.
I'll settle for 60, 70, but
That's what you do, damn it.
You can find Brent at One Lucky Gay. You can find me at Armstrong Terran. You can also find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Terran Armstrong. And of course, as we've referred to before, check out the Roundtable Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll update our ratings and the stock watch and talk about everything that's been going down on the Big Brother Canada 8 live feeds this week. So thank you once more for joining us tonight. We'll see you next time.
Take care.